A Hunter's Journey. Once upon a time in a land far to the north, where the winters were harsh and the forests thick and deep, lived a skilled hunter named Stefan. Stefan was known throughout the region for his bravery, his sharp aim, and his kind heart. One frosty morning, as he ventured deeper into the forest than he ever had before, Stefan stumbled upon an unexpected sight. A small bear cub, seemingly lost and alone. Stefan approached cautiously, his hunter's instincts on high alert. But as he neared, he saw no sign of the cub's mother. The little bear, perhaps sensing Stefan's gentleness, did not flee, but instead looked up with wide, curious eyes. Stefan, moved by the sight, decided to take the cub with him. He named the cub Ursus. Back at his home, Stefan began to care for Ursus. Over time, the bear cub grew, and Stefan trained him to be obedient and well-mannered. Ursus became more than just a pet. He was Stefan's loyal companion. The bear learned tricks, responded to commands, and even accompanied Stefan on his hunting trips. The bond between them was strong and deep. One day, a brilliant idea struck Stefan. The king of the realm was known for his love of exotic and well-trained animals. Stefan decided he would present Ursus to the king as a gift. Not only would this gesture bring joy to the king, but Stefan hoped it might also earn him a handsome reward, enough to ensure he would never want for anything again. As Stefan and Ursus set off on their journey to the royal castle, the weather took a sudden turn for the worse. The sky darkened, and snow began to fall heavily, obscuring the path ahead. Stefan knew they needed shelter, and quickly. After several hours of struggling through the blizzard, they came upon a small, weather-beaten cottage. Smoke rose from its chimney, a promising sign of warmth and safety within. Stefan knocked on the door, and it was soon opened by a middle-aged man with a kind but weary face. The man introduced himself as Hans and welcomed them inside. Grateful, Stefan accepted the hospitality and explained their quest. Hans listened intently, his eyes occasionally flicking to the large bear at Stefan's side. As they sat by the fire, Hans's expression grew serious. "You are welcome to stay here," he said, "but I must warn you. This cottage is visited by trolls every Christmas night. They come down from the mountains and cause great mischief. My family and I always sleep in the barn on that night to stay safe." Stefan was intrigued but undeterred. "Thank you for the warning, Hans. We will take our chances here in the cottage." Night fell, and Hans led his family to the barn. Stefan and Ursus settled into the small room. The warmth of the fire and the soft crackle of the logs soon had Stefan drifting into a light sleep. Ursus lay at his feet, alert and protective. Midnight approached, and with it the faint sounds of movement outside. Stefan woke to the sound of low, guttural voices and the crunch of snow under heavy feet. He sat up and peered out the window. Shadows danced in the moonlight, moving closer to the cottage. The trolls had arrived. Without warning, the door burst open, and the trolls poured in. They were hideous creatures with gnarly features, dressed in ragged furs and emitting a foul stench. Stefan sprang to his feet, ready to defend himself, but Ursus was faster. The bear cub, now a strong young bear, stood tall on his hind legs and roared. The trolls hesitated, their eyes widening in fear. Ursus lunged at the nearest troll, swiping with his powerful claws. The troll yelped and stumbled backward, crashing into its companions. The room erupted into chaos. Ursus chased the trolls, snapping his jaws and swiping with his claws, driving them toward the door. The trolls, now in a state of panic, scrambled to escape the furious bear. They fled into the night, howling and cursing as they disappeared into the darkness. Stefan watched in amazement as Ursus chased the last of the trolls out of the cottage. The bear returned to his side, panting but triumphant. Stefan patted Ursus's head, whispering words of praise and gratitude. The next morning, Hans and his family cautiously approached the cottage. They were astonished to find it intact and free of trolls. Hans listened in awe as Stefan recounted the night's events. Tears of joy filled Hans's eyes, and he embraced Stefan and Ursus. "This has been the best Christmas we have ever had," Hans declared. "You have driven away the trolls, and we can finally feel safe in our own home." Stefan and Ursus stayed with Hans and his family for a few more days, sharing in their Christmas celebrations and enjoying the warmth of their newfound friendship. When the weather cleared, Stefan and Ursus resumed their journey to the royal castle. Word of their bravery had spread, and by the time they arrived, they were greeted as heroes. The king was delighted with Ursus and rewarded Stefan handsomely. With the riches bestowed upon him, Stefan built a new home where he and Ursus could live comfortably. He often visited Hans and his family, and every Christmas they celebrated together, safe and happy, with no fear of trolls ever returning. And so, Stefan and his well-trained bear, Ursus, lived out their days in peace, their bond unbroken and their hearts full of the warmth of friendship and the joy of the Christmas spirit.